What's up, guys? Regiment in this podcast is brought to you by G Fuel, the ultimate energy drink for gamers. G Fuel uses a special blend of vitamins, antioxidants, and other natural caffeine resources to keep you from having those jitters or even that crash that you normally would have from other energy drink brands. So whether you're having a long gaming session or you're just having a long day and need a pick-me-up, G Fuel definitely has you covered. G Fuel also has a wide array of flavors to choose from. But if you don't know what flavor you want to try, they also sell variety packs on their website, and they even come with a cool shaker. So head on over to gfuel.com and use promo code Regiment at checkout to get up to 30% off. That is Regiment, promo code Regiment down here at checkout to get up to 30% off. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Barracks Party. Brock and Blake. Hello, everyone. Back at it. Doc's been messaging us again. This time, so far, not ice cream social stuff. So he's been doing pretty good. They're at a port right now. Can't say where because of HopSec. But yeah, so a lot's been going on. Actually, not a lot's been going on when it comes to the news world, but I am sick as fuck right now. I'm sure you guys can hear it in my voice, but we were going to record yesterday, but I was just down for the fucking count, dude. I was so...
When I tell you we got into the call, I looked at him immediately. I was like, whoa, you look like shit.
I'm glad to know that I was looking a little rough for wear there. Yeah, dude.
You did not look good.
I didn't feel good. I was, the only thing I can think of is that I caught something from the gym on Monday. Because I was breaking down the timeline of where I was and what I was doing throughout the week before I started feeling sick. So I started feeling it on Thursday. And I'm sitting there thinking, where did I go that I could have possibly have caught something? So over the weekend, I didn't do anything because I never really do. Monday, I went to the gym, and that was it. Tuesday, I had 2 appointments. I had a mental health CMP exam and therapy. Wednesday, didn't go anywhere. At least as far as I can remember, I didn't go anywhere. Thursday, I woke up with a little tickle in my throat.
It had to be the gym.
It had to be the gym.
Touching some equipment or even walking by some dude might have coughed on you and you didn't notice it or something like that.
Something. I don't know, because like I caught this, and at first I was sitting there thinking on Thursday, oh, you know, I got a tickle in my throat, I got a cough, probably gonna have a sore throat, lose my voice. I was not expecting to get a crazy fever and get flu-like symptoms. So Thursday night going into Friday, I woke up in the middle of the night with a fever. I just woke up and I had fever dreams. Didn't feel that great, so I took Dayquil, went back to sleep. Woke up the next day achy, and I was sitting there thinking, like, dude, this isn't good. But I don't normally, when I do catch something, it's never as bad as it was. My body usually just purges that shit out. My wife was telling me, she's like, you're really stressed. You've been stressed lately, so of course you're going to get really sick when you're stressed because stress lowers your immune system. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it does. I've been stressed because this job hunt has been daunting. I've gotten 2 pre-interviews with recruiters out of like the 100-something fucking applications I've submitted.
Really?
Yeah. It's been bad.
That sucks.
I've been denied internships, entry-level positions. There's out of a class of 60-something software developers, I think only 3 or 4 of us have gotten a job.
That's wild.
Well, the biggest reason why is because in the software development world, over the past year, hundreds of thousands of software developers got laid off. And so the market is just saturated with unemployed software developers, most of which have 5 to 10 years experience, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, PhDs. They've all worked at senior level areas. So you have these higher level developers taking entry level jobs because they just eclipse us with their qualifications. So those of us that are coming out of college with an associate's degree, basically I've been looking it up. It says if you have an associate's degree, you basically have nothing.
God, that sucks.
It does suck because I'm thinking the last 2 years of me busting my ass it really equates to nothing. So
that's the scary part with college and how it's like everyone's got to go now kind of deal, and then it's it's the new high school diploma. You know what I mean?
I was hoping that I could leverage my security clearance and my military experience more than I've been able to. In one case, there was a company that I applied for. It was a defense contractor, and they make battlefield simulations and stuff like AR, VR simulations for like F-35s, A-10s. They basically make targeting systems, all that stuff. They were looking for a software developer, obviously a little bit more higher up than an entry level. But because I had a security clearance, they even told me in the interview, like, well, the fact that you even held one is good because that means we can get you another one.
Yeah.
However, the position that you applied for is on a hiring freeze, and these positions require me to relocate. And the position I applied for was in Arlington, Texas. But the only position that they were interviewing for is for DC. So I'd have to relocate to DC, and I absolutely will not move to DC.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. That'd be shitty.
So they're holding on to my shit, and I'm like, why the fuck did I even have an interview? If you guys, why is that job even on there? If they're on a hiring freeze,
it's just to get more applicants in, and then tell you, hey, we're on a freeze. We'll call you if we need you, and then they have already a lot of phone numbers that they can call and pick from and go down their list. And it's the only reason they do that.
As much as it seems like a really good job to have, the relocation thing is a big problem for me because they told me, I said, will you guys allow me to work from home remotely for a little bit while I figure out the move? And they said, well, from the time that we give you a job offer to the time your security clearance is like good to go, they would have expected me to relocate at that, like within that period of time, which is not long. And they were like, well,
probably what, a month, 2 months?
Yeah. And they made it, and the guy that was talking is like, that should be plenty of time. I'm like, I'm a homeowner. I'm married. I own a home. I have to sell I said, with the way the housing market is, that might not be possible. Because I'm going to have to sell my house, find a new place, move. There's a lot of cost that goes involved with that. On top of that, like, I'm uprooting my life, hoping that this job will be still there when I get there.
Yeah.
Which is why
it's terrifying.
Yeah. I don't want to get down there and then find out, like, oh, the offer was rescinded because it took too long for me to relocate.
Yeah. And then what do? Then you don't even have a home, and you're just fucked.
Yeah. So that's why 100% I need a remote position first.
Yeah.
And then I'll
relocate. I feel like an entry-level remote, while obviously hard to find, is the best to get your foot in the door with it all and figure out. Because, I mean, like you're saying, you kind of got to relocate no matter what, wherever you go, whatever you do.
Yeah. So, yeah, finding a job right now for me has been awful. There's one company that my buddy works at. I put in my application. He put a good word in for me. I got the pre-interview done 2 weeks ago. And then they said that we're going to send your stuff to the hiring manager. You should hear from him tomorrow. Tomorrow came, didn't hear anything. The next week came, didn't hear anything. So I sent out an email, said, thank you for your time. I'm excited to work. Basically just to show that I'm still available, still really wanting to work there. And the recruiter she told me that she hadn't heard from the hiring manager yet. She'll get in touch with them and then let me know. I was like, appreciate that. And I still haven't heard anything. But then again, the Microsoft outage happened right after that. So I totally don't expect to hear anything right away because the company that I interviewed for is a cybersecurity company. And
Oh shit.
so they have been putting out fires as a result of the CrowdStrike bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So they got their hands full at the moment. So I'm not really going to pressure it because I get it. They're probably really fucking busy. But at the same time, that could be helpful for me because it's like, well, we need more people to help with this. Cool. Yeah. I'm here to help with this. I kind of already know how to fix it because I researched it. You know, it's like, hey,
I Googled that shit.
And not even that. I looked at. I didn't Google it. I was talking to some of my other guys that are working in IT right now that have been working on this, figuring out so what's the fix. And they told me what the fix is. It's actually relatively simple to fix it once you know where to go to do it. The only hard part is
last year to combat inflation.
What the fuck?
We ran a promotion cutting the price.
What just happened?
One of the fucking
Ryan Reynolds.
One of the fucking ads on this article that I have open just started playing. I have all the articles set to mute, but sometimes the ads will overwrite the mute and make you unmute and remute it. So fucking shitty. What was I saying again?
You learn how to do it.
So
and your buddies were
pretty
telling
much the only hard part about getting this fix is booting the computer into safe mode. Some of the computers won't, and that's been the biggest hang up is that some of the computers are having a hard time booting in safe mode. So pretty much, I mean, we have an article about it. I can talk about it then, but pretty much the fix is that, and we'll dive into that when we actually talk about it. Real quick, before we get into anything, I want to thank you guys for watching. Our last episode is the first episode that ever got dislikes. And it's because of Dr. Disrespect's bullshit. We had one fucking troll in the comment section say he did nothing wrong. She was 17. That is exactly the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Age of consent is 16. What? No, the legal age is 18. You know, so Doc did do something wrong.
Yeah. And even then, that's the thing too. Was it like age of consent 16, but with like parents' approval?
Pretty much.
Like, yeah. No, they're a child.
They are a child.
You were like, no, leave them alone.
Look at it this way.
We went way deep into that.
If you're at the age where you need a parental waiver for something, you are not fucking legally old enough to do that.
I feel like the only thing you should be getting parental consent for is tattoos and
joining the military.
And maybe even a little bit of boozing. I've heard of some states they allow it if you're like 16 and you're with your parent at the bar and they say it's okay.
Wisconsin,
to let you have a beer.
Wisconsin is that state that allows you to go to the bar with your parents.
Yeah.
And drink at the bar. But not every bar will let you do it. Even though in Wisconsin, legally that is allowed, it's at the bar's discretion.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if I was a bar owner, I would be like, hey, I'm going to steer clear of any possible liability here.
Right.
And just not allow it.
Generally, that's what they do. They don't want to deal with the liability issue of that. So that fucking idiot, yes, Doc did do something wrong because she was 17. The legal age of consent nationally is 18. And I saw the comment, like, well, my sister, she was 16, dating a 20-something-year-old, whatever the fuck. I'm like, she was basically groomed and trafficked. So, sorry about your family issues, bro.
Sucks, dude.
I know. But anyway, hey, thanks for watching the video.
Yeah.
So
got a little deep at the end of that one, but we've got plans to make this one much more lighthearted. So
I ended up having to unpack that one at therapy, by the way.
Oh, I believe it.
So, because it bugs me even to this day. My mental health CMP exam went really, really good.
Good.
Usually this is supposed to be either anywhere between 20 to 150 minutes long for the exam. and the exam was over 2 hours long.
Mm.
So it was a long exam, and we went deep into shit, which the first exam I had didn't. My first exam was done in 40 minutes or so.
Mm.
And that first examiner didn't even ask me anything about my time in.
Really?
Yeah, she was trying to focus heavily on all the before.
It's Well, I think when did you do it?
2021.
So I know that there was like a shift in how the VA handles that and how examiners handle it, and it was to prove that it was service connected, and then recently it's been you have to disprove that it's that it's service connected, and now they're going back to you have to prove it's service connected. So that's probably why it was so why it's different.
So I also had a letter of nexus from my doctor saying that, hey, PTSD is service connected here. All his issues are a result from his time in. So I had I had a doctor write me that nexus letter, and I took that with me to the exam. And he was like, thank you, this is actually very helpful. And we went through the whole thing. We unpacked a bunch of shit. And yeah, he told me, basically, he gave me like this sheet after. He's like, I highly recommend you go see groups and shit. It was just like, hey, you've got issues. I would recommend that you get seen more than once a week. I was like, yeah. And and he even, that like this one went good, because I even at the end, I was like, thank you for actually like talking to me about this stuff, because the last time I had an exam, we didn't talk about any of this. And he said, yeah, looking at the notes and looking at the last exam you had, that person pretty much did a half-ass job on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained to him, I said, yeah, she didn't really ever talk to me. She was barely telling me, asking me anything about the stuff that you asked me. And when I went and did it again, they did a record review, and the same person fucking wrote, the same person that denied me the first time did my record review the second time. And you can tell that they didn't even look at the records, because the denial, the paragraph, the written reason for the denial was word for word the same as the first time. And that was with more evidence, right? So the second time I went through, it was like they had my records for maybe 12 minutes, because I could see when they received it and when they made their decision. 12 minutes to look at my records. So this person didn't actually look at my fucking records. She just repeated what she had said the first time.
Which is ridiculous. It's like, dude, I'm doing my due diligence. How about you do a little bit of yours?
Yeah, and it's bad when the examiner that I saw said, yeah, both of her paragraphs are the same. He said he noticed that both of her reasonings for denial were word for word. Like, her evaluation was word for word the same both times.
So she's just copy and pasting that shit.
She did. She didn't give a fuck. This guy actually sat there and talked with me. He was a younger dude. He actually seemed like he cared about what he was doing. So,
yeah.
So I would be very surprised if I get denied mental health this fucking time.
Kind of how the guy I went to see about my knees was, because everyone before was just like, tell me what's going on. Told him. 5 minutes later, like, all right, get out of my office. This guy was like, no, we're going down this, and I'm explaining every little fucking thing to you. Granted, I know it's not going to go the way that I would like it, but I have a better understanding as to like how the VA analyzes it. Yeah. I told you about this before. Like, I thought it was pain was enough, and he's like, no. They're looking for range of motion. He's like, max you can get is 10 on pain. Rest is motion. Oh, okay. So, yeah.
So we'll see about this one. Let's talk about some articles. So, first article coming up. So there wasn't a lot happening in the world in the last few weeks, besides like an attempted assassination on a presidential candidate. Besides that, we won't talk about it. In the gaming world, Apex Legends' new Battle Pass pricing has been a major. There's been major backlash by the Apex community because of this. and justifiably so, because they changed the prices and they changed how you can get the battle pass. You can no longer earn the battle pass in game. Yeah.
That's so stupid. That's money hungry.
And there's 2 different battle passes. You got to pay for both.
It all comes back to about like
Money.
the same thing we always say, and it's just money and greedy. Anyway, well, I don't want to get hung up on it before we even go into the
Xbox Game Pass. We all knew the Game Pass price changes were coming, and we knew a price increase would come, but we didn't know that the tier model would be changed. So the new Game Pass price increases are downright nefarious, because for consoles, they basically took Game Pass away from consoles and limited it to only the standard edition, and they increased the price on it. So you're getting less and paying for more. So the first party exclusives that are going to be available on Game Pass will not be available on consoles.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about this. This is news to me. Like,
yeah,
I never heard about this.
We'll dive more
because I am an avid Game Pass user.
We'll dive more into that. If you're a Game Pass user on PC, you'll have to pay to get the first party exclusives, but console players won't get those at all. You have no option to pay for a higher tier Game Pass. There's just the Xbox console Game Pass and then the Xbox Game Pass on PC. The Xbox console Game Pass is just the standard Game Pass, but they raise the price on it, so you're paying for more and you're getting less.
That sucks for console exclusive people.
I know, and it's we'll talk about that too. But like the biggest thing is the incentive. Every year, Microsoft or Xbox has been doing something to basically nullify the justification of getting an Xbox console. The incentive for getting an Xbox has gotten lower and lower and lower and lower as the years progressed. There's like, at this point, you might as well just get a fucking PC.
I was a Xbox fanboy for so long. I mean, that's the console that I have. It's over there on the floor. But like, that's the console I have if I'm ever like, oh, let me play this. Because like, there's some games like Madden, sports games. I don't want to play on a keyboard and mouse type deal. Might as well use the Xbox. Anyway, changing from console only to PC has been the greatest gaming choice I've made in my life. So if any of you are watching and you're like, should I get a PC? Is it really worth it? Yes, it is worth it. And don't let the whole like, oh man, PC players are snobs. Don't let that negate you from doing it. Just do it. It makes your life easier. It's better.
My buddy Tony switched he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna get a PC. He's like, is it really that much better? I said, yes. Your options are infinite. And
you play whatever you want.
He got it, and he was like, dude, this is fucking great. And then once he learned about Discord on PC, he's just like, oh my god, the comms are so clear. I said, you get it now, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, I told him.
That's how my old roommate was. He wouldn't get it. He was talking about it for like 2 years about getting one. I was like, just do it. And one day he finally, I can't remember what game I was playing. I was playing something, and he was like, it was Helldivers. Helldivers got him to get a PC because he saw me playing it and all of us having a bunch of fun. And he's like, I need to get in on this shit. So he goes and gets the PC, gets to him through Amazon in like 5 days, and he plugs it in and he's playing on it. And after like an hour, he runs in my room and he's like, I should have done this years ago. This is the greatest fucking thing ever. I'm like, I know. I tried to tell you.
It's incredible. But the problem is everything's switching to Unreal Engine 5. And the PCs that people have in the majority are slowly becoming outdated, which sucks. But next topic is the dreaded blue screen of death that swept the nation on Friday. And this is why you don't deploy on Fridays. You don't deploy any software on Fridays or any updates on Fridays because of shit like this. It's always been, it's kind of like the apricots and tanks of the software world. You do not deploy software on Fridays.
It's just bad luck.
Well, that, and if something happens, it is crippling.
Yeah.
As we saw. And it basically, people are crunching throughout the weekend to try to fix it. Still are. Flights, the flights that have gotten canceled people are still in the airports right now, waiting for their flights. At that point, I would just got a hotel.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah.
But the way the airliners are doing it, they're kind of hanging the carrot in front of them, like, we'll be fixing it soon. You know, we'll get you guys figured out soon. But airliners are like, your flight's canceled. You're not getting compensated. But they're poorly delivering it. They're saying you're not getting compensated. But what they are trying to say is, we can't compensate you yet.
Yeah,
because
I
the
saw
system
a video
is down.
of that, and like everybody was all pissed, like, what the fuck do you mean? And the guy was like, no, like on the intercom, he's like, no, we just can't do it yet. The systems are like, we can't process them through our systems yet.
Right, the delivery of that news, people are already tense because their flights are getting canceled and they're kind of stranded. It said, and it's not like we don't want to compensate you, it's we are unable to compensate you.
Yeah.
The best way you could say is, the best thing you could do is be like, you will be compensated. We just can't compensate you right now. But compensation will happen, type thing. Or not say you're not getting compensated because we can't. No, you don't start it with that. You said you will be compensated once we are able to compensate you. It's all about the delivery and how you say it. You can't tell them no. You can't tell them you're not going to do something and then follow that up with, only because we can't yet, but we will. No, you say we will, but we are unable to right now. But once
it is crazy with breaking news or giving a speech or anything like that. You can say the same thing two different ways. One can start a riot, and one can make everybody really happy. But you can say the same exact thing.
Exactly. Words have meaning. I know the reason why this happened. CrowdStrike is going to, dude, it was funny. The CrowdStrike CEO was on the news and they were showing the stock of CrowdStrike next to him while he was talking, and his stock is like plummeting.
Oh man.
As he's talking about the issue and like what they're doing to fix it and why this happened. So it's just diabolical that they did that, where they had the chart of the CrowdStrike stock next to the CEO of CrowdStrike as he's jumbling over his words to explain what happened and what they're doing to rectify it. It was
Dude,
funny.
I should have paid attention to that and hopped on and put in for a put on that stock and just raked in some cash really quick in a couple hours while it's just fucking plummeting. Just like, cool, thanks for the money. Bah!
Dude, CrowdStrike is not going to recover from that at all. It just goes to show you, though, you really shouldn't have one operating system controlling as much shit as it does.
No, not at all. It leads to disaster.
In military news, troops will start getting economic hardship bonuses this month. However, it's only going to be $20 on average.
Hey, whoever's still active duty out there,
$20 a month. It's like, whoa, we're gonna don't worry, guys, you're gonna start getting hardship bonuses, economic hardship bonuses. Awesome. How much is it? $20 a month. What the fuck? Okay.
And never mind, I'm not gonna say that because I already read half of the article. Well, we'll say it when we get to it.
All right. 2 service members and a DoD contractor are being charged with stealing military equipment from the Air Force and the Army. And this is the thing, man. If you're going to steal equipment, don't try to sell it on the fucking internet. I'm looking at the photo of it, and I can already tell you by the photo which items were stolen. I can tell you right now. Now, the weapons were not. The equipment that I'm seeing right here, they were like this fucking Harris radio, this Embedder radio, this fucking... these nods right here. The binos,
14.
the binos.
I love that they grabbed the MRE too and threw it in the picture.
I know.
Like, who cares? Just take a fucking. We can hand those out to people.
The MREs, you can buy them at any surplus store.
Yeah, like that shouldn't be in the prize pool. That's kind of funny that they included it in like the look at all the shit we got back.
Well, I like how they also showcase the fucking AR-15s here as if those were possibly taken. Here, let me show the chat real quick.
It's not even a good MRE, at least in my opinion. It's beef stew.
Oh yeah, beef stew. Yeah, so I can tell you
Shit
right
sucks.
now, these plates, these sappy plates, those were taken. Those were stolen 100%. These radios, Embitter radio and the fucking Harris radio right here, those were stolen.
Mm-hmm.
This thermal optic,
Magazines.
that thermal optic that's usually mounted on a 50 cal, that's stolen. This PVS 17 or whatever the fuck it is, I can't remember if it's the 14 or 17.
What's the difference?
One's a monocle and the other one is the fucking two-eyed one that goes to one.
That's the 14 then.
So this NOD's stolen, the ACH stolen, these binos stolen, that fucking IOTV right here on the left stolen. I think that's also another IOTV. I can tell you what's not stolen. This fucking pink nightmare right here, that's not stolen.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100% his. Oh, that looks like an IFAC. No, it's not.
Unless they stole it and spray painted it.
I can tell you right now.
Good job at it.
I can tell you right
changed the
now.
rails.
This is not a military issued AR M4. The rails.
Well, I'm saying the only thing that I would say is the lower, and they changed everything else.
The low. See, I don't know about the lower either, because this looks like something that was manufactured.
Yeah.
It was manufactured. The M-LOK rail system right here is a giveaway. The way that the camo pattern goes from the lower to the upper, this is a manufactured store-bought rifle. This one on the left, this is also not. This looks like a 300 blackout. That's definitely like a store-bought rifle too. But yeah, the MRE being in there is so fucking funny. He stole the MRE. Who gives a shit? Everybody steals those. Navy officer convicted in Afghan visa bribery scheme. That's interesting. So he said he was lieutenant commander in Afghanistan, 2014. Appeared in court in March, allegedly accepting bribes from Afghan refugees between 2018 and 2020 for special immigration visas. How was he able to even do that?
That is a good question. I guess it would come down to rank.
Not even that, but I mean, does a naval commander have authority to even push that?
I mean, it says he was civil engineer.
We'll dive more into that. And last but not least, creatine could be coming to MREs. You fucking do you even lifts, bro? That one's interesting. Would you trade a pack of MRE jalapeno cheese for creatine? Congress is considering whether to ask the military to add the fitness supplement to the rations. I remember back when I was a teenager, parents thought fucking creatine was steroids.
Yeah.
Like everybody looked at creatine as if it was a steroid.
I remember that.
And I
remember that going around.
They all made fucking creatine sound like it was some kind of banned supplement where it was bad for you and shit. Now creatine's in fucking everything that's fitness related.
I'm willing to bet that's why, is because it caused so much research to go into it, and everyone's like, oh, this is actually fine.
There's nothing wrong with
Drink
this
fucking
shit.
water. Like, use it.
It's just a fucking powder. That's all it is. It doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, funny.
Yeah.
All right. Apex Legends Battle Pass. So, bad news for all you Apex fans. So, the new Apex Legends Battle Pass pricing is unjustifiable. So, Apex Legends developer Respawn has announced a new pricing structure for its hit Battle Royale. What was once a simple once-per-season transaction is now unbelievably complicated. What was once able to be bought using currency earned in-game can now only be purchased with real cash. And what on earth is a bi-seasonal premium plus pass? So the announcement itself is a baffling jumble of pricing structures and rewarding offerings, and I'm here to break it all down for you, but in short, you'll be paying twice as much for your battle pass for the same rewards. First up, there's now 2 battle passes per season. The ranked season is already separated into 2 splits per season, and the new battle passes will follow these dates. The price has stayed the same, costing £8.99. Well, this is European money, except it hasn't quite stayed the same. The price used to be 950 Apex coins, which was $8.99. That meant if you hoarded your Apex coins earned from the battle pass, you could usually afford the next one. This is now not an option. You have to pay real money every season in order to receive the premium rewards. Oh, not every season, twice every season. You have to buy them. You have to pay twice per season for a battle pass.
It's so stupid.
So it even says right here. So they get the free, the new free, every half season free. Every season, 950 Apex coins for the premium. This is the premium old and premium new. So free old tells you what you got. 110 levels, 200 Apex coins, 7 Apex packs. The new free old gives you, the new free pass gives you more rewards ish. You get 1 character skin, 1 weapon skin, 1 standing emote, blah blah blah. So this is every half season, not every season. Every season for premium, it's all every half season. It's not 1 season anymore, so it's broken down into half seasons. So you got to pay for this shit twice. And it even tells you 950 Apex coins for the old premium. Now it's $10 every half season. So you're spending $20 every season for the premium. But if you want the premium plus, you have to pay $40 a season, because it's $20 every half season. So they split the season pass into 2 every season. So it's like you pay for half of it, not all of it.
Mm-hmm. Which is, I'll just never understand that kind of stuff, because it's like, what are you putting into this that deserves double what I've been paying for years? You know, right. I mean, I don't play Apex, but that's like, I mean, Apex is a huge battle royale game. That'd be like Fortnite doing this, and people would be like, what do you mean? Like, why? Where's this coming from? What are you adding in? Because I know they're not adding in anything crazy. Like, it's the same shit. You're doing the same thing. Like, what the fuck?
Well, let's see. So functionally, the price of Apex's battle passes has doubled. There are 2 reactive weapon skins per season, but it's unclear exactly from what from these will take. Will the second be the recolor we saw in the previous seasons when leveled 110? Will we get twice the cosmetics as previous seasons, or the same offerings for twice the price? There are a smattering more loot boxes now available in the premium battle passes, a few more crafting materials used for making cosmetics, and exotic shards used for crafting other more premium cosmetics. Is it worth twice the price? The Steam reviews suggest not. You make your own call, but it's not. So it says there's a new tier of battle pass too. Premium costs $17.99 every half season and skips 10 levels of the 60 level battle pass, as well as granting you 2 exclusive variants of cosmetics featured in the pass. Worth it? The official blog states that this is a cost difference of 29% of give or take 29% compared to the discontinued premium battle pass bundle at 2,800 Apex credit coins, whatever the fuck, which is only half true. The cost for premium battle pass bundle was 2,800 Apex coins, which cost $26.98 in real money. So you had to buy the 2150 Apex coins bundle for $17.99 and the 950 Apex coins bundle for $8.99 to deal with the leftover coins. But you only had to buy that once a season. You have to buy the new Premium Plus Pass twice a season, costing you $35.98 or $40 more than the old system, which is $9 or $10 more than the old one. If this was such a good change for the players, why is Respawn obfuscating the costs? So what do you get in the new Apex Legends Battle Pass? However, the strangest thing about the new Apex Legends Battle Pass isn't the price doubling, the inordinately expensive Premium Plus pack, or the inability to earn the next season pass. It's the fact that EA and Respawn are positioning this as something the players the players wanted, as if this is something the fans of the game have been asking for all this time, which is weird. I see a lot of companies do this, where they act like these changes are something that people were asking for, but it wasn't. It's like, where did you get that idea from?
Yeah.
A lot of games, a lot of AAA games do that shit.
I think they're just trying to gaslight everyone.
It's all about
no,
gaslighting.
I swear, you said it.
Yeah.
You told me that.
So we're frequently iterating on the game, chatting with players, and considering how we can action on community feedback from casuals to pros. Respawn writes on its post describing the changes. I don't know how any players who asked for a battle pass that's twice as expensive as before. We're still at a cost of living crisis in the UK and most of the world, where the price of rent, bills, and groceries are skyrocketing with no end in sight. People are cutting back on their media subscriptions, canceling Netflix plans, and weighing on the worth of their Game Pass library. And now they can't even earn such season pass by loyally playing Apex the season before. So yeah, basically, you can't earn the season pass in game anymore. And they're raising the prices on you to even be able to get the battle pass, which is crazy.
Which I highly doubt they were missing out on this much money to have to make a call like this on people earning their battle pass by playing. Like, there's no way. There's no way you're losing out on that much money.
No,
over that.
Can't be.
Because people are going to use it like, oh man, I made the 950, but it's like, this new skin came out. I can only get it if I buy it. I don't know if Apex does it that way. I'm sure they do. Every game does. But like, well, I've got 950. If I just buy more credits, I can use the leftovers and still have the 950 and get this skin. Have my cake, eat it too. Just pay a little more. Like, you're getting your money.
Right.
What's the point of this gaslighting the fan base into saying, like, this is what you wanted? And, like, yeah, maybe people were saying, hey, we would like to see more frequent season passes. Maybe the seasons are really long. People are like, I'm finishing this really early. I'd like to have more shit to unlock while I play. No one asked you to raise double your prices.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Not even that, just doubling the prices of the season pass, but doubling it by splitting the season pass in half.
Yeah.
Where it's like, before, the whole season cost you for premium $10.
Mm-hmm.
But now it will cost you $10 for every half season.
Yeah.
And the rewards that you get out of that are marginal.
Yeah, it's not like you're getting two separate, passes to get unlocks and everything. Because, I mean, it says here 110 levels in the old one, 60 in the new one. Like, all you've done is cut it in half. You'll get, 10 more? 10 more things to unlock? That's it.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. Like, why? And they act like it's such a deal. It's like, well, you are getting a couple more rewards. But yeah, but you're making me pay double for it.
And what sucks, too, is it was talking about, like, what is it? Reactive weapon skins, right? Like, they're totally going to be like, well, look at this. You get more of the reactive stuff. Ooh, big shiny that everybody loves. But there's only so much you can do. So a lot of these, it's going to be like, ooh, the first half of the season pass, you get a blue one. Next half of the season pass, you get a red one. And you're like, the fuck? Like, why did I just pay more? Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's gonna turn into, if it hasn't already.
Dude,
again, I don't play Apex.
The monetization of skins is the reason why things have gotten worse when it comes to microtransactions and games and battle passes and shit. It's crazy. Like, everyone, and people will justify it's a free to play game. You don't have to spend any money on it to play it. Though that be true, a lot of these rewards are mostly cosmetic. The only time that it wasn't was they had this. I'll never forget this. One of their seasons they launched was called, like, the fucking royal season or whatever the fuck, where you had to buy like for an heirloom, right? So the heirloom is like kind of like the melee weapon or whatever the fuck. In order to earn the heirloom, you had to open loot boxes to be able to buy it. You could purchase it outright, but you weren't able to purchase it until you bought certain fucking loot boxes. And there was, I think it was like 12, it was like 20 something loot boxes, but only a certain number of them were like, you can earn those in game, but the rest of them are premium loot boxes that you have to buy.
Yeah.
So not only did you have to pay, you basically had to pay to earn the opportunity to buy the heirloom. So they like double tiered it to where you had to pay to be able to pay for something.
Which is crazy.
You had to pay for access to buy something.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. And everybody fucking revolted on that so bad. And it was in the early life cycle of Apex. So they backtracked on it like real quick. But now here we are in 2024. They don't give a fuck, Keisha. They don't give a fuck.
It's like paying a cover fee to get into a bar. I'm going to pay you to go spend my money here.
I know. But usually sometimes the cover fee is justified because it could be a band playing. And that's how the band makes their money and shit. So you're getting something additional on top of just being at the bar.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it's like a real world representation of it.
Paying a cover fee to get into a place to buy money, to spend your money.
Yeah. And here's the thing that sucks too is we, the consumers, allow it to happen because we've shown them what we're willing to spend on these things. Like before when it was first big with buying skins and everything like that, if we wouldn't have bought them for $9 and they're like, no, I'm just not doing that. You know, skins would be like $2, $1. But we've allowed the market to be $10, $15, $20
more
for all this stuff.
Depending on the game, more.
You know?
I remember when Valorant first came out, people were like, some of these skin packs were in the hundreds of dollars, actual dollars, 80 something dollars for a skin pack. And it was all blue, just a blue color skin for weapons.
Dude, I fucking, around the time I started to quit playing, fuck did I just say? Around the time when I stopped playing Call of Duty, and they started doing all the skin stuff, I looked in the store, and it was like $30 for a skin. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's ridiculous. You don't even see it. Like, you don't even see the skin unless you get a damn lethal, a takedown on somebody. And I'm not good enough to get takedowns on anybody, so I'll never see that motherfucker other than the loading screen.
Dude, the fucking Call of Duty skin bundles were insane. I remember looking at it where the prices just got more and more crazy. The first Halloween event for Warzone, where they had all the skin packs for like different Halloween characters.
Like Ghostface, Leatherface.
Before that, it was before Ghostface. This was like Jigsaw.
I remember Jigsaw. I liked that one.
It was Jigsaw.
I think I bought that one.
And a couple other ones, and I can't remember what they were. But to get all of them, it was fucking $80 for all of it. Because it was 20.
And they're not even a free-to-play game, which is the crazy part.
No, at the time Warzone wasn't. Well, Warzone was a free-to-play game.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that.
And it was like Warzone. It was the first time Warzone had. They introduced the nighttime shit.
That was an exciting point in Call of Duty for me. I think that's the last time I've been excited about it, other than like zombies being released. But I've been let down by zombies for the past so many years. Again, I've got hope. I get every Call of Duty every year just to play the campaign. I barely even touch multiplayer anymore. But with Treyarch back, making another Black Ops, and they've said we're going to original round-based zombies. I'm ready. They sold me. When I heard round-based zombies is back, I was like, oh.
I will never buy a Call of Duty game again.
I will, every single year.
You are part of the fucking problem, Blake.
I love the campaigns. I will spend the $70 just to play the campaign.
I don't think they're worth it anymore.
Except for this last one. This last one was really bad. I will not say that it was good.
If you look at all the Call of Duty campaigns recently, I think Modern Warfare was the last time that the Call of Duty campaign was worth it because it was truly different from the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Then Modern Warfare 2 came out and it started going back to the old Call of Duty formula. And it was shorter. And then Modern Warfare 3 came out and it was basically a DLC with a really shitty campaign.
You were in was it Verdansk or whatever the hell?
It was basically they used fucking Verdansk as part of the campaign. Mm-hmm. They just reused assets.
They're just like, here, let's tie in Warzone into the campaign. It's like, no. You don't have to do that. That doesn't need to happen. That's not we don't need that. Which made me angry. What pissed me off about the Modern Warfare 3 campaign the most was the second I was like, you know what? I am finding enjoyment in this. Roll credits. I shit you not. 5 minutes after I said I wasn't streaming it. I quit streaming that one because it was so bad. People were like, I'm not fucking watching this.
Modern Warfare 3?
I was sitting here by myself and I told myself, I was like, you know what? I'm enjoying it. Yeah, Modern Warfare 3. I was like, I'm enjoying this. This is good. Soap fucking died. And the game ended. I was so pissed. And the way they killed Soap, are you fucking me? There was no emotion. He just, boom. Oh, Soap's dead.
Yeah, I know.
And then you didn't even get to kill Shepard. You watched it in a post-credit cutscene. What was that shit?
Killing Shepard was also a Modern Warfare 2 thing in the old one.
I know. Which is like, why did it... I get it. They wanted to change it. They wanted to remaster it. Make it more modern and everything. They did great in the first one. The first Modern Warfare remastered, or not remastered, but like re-envisioned. Modern Warfare 2019. Phenomenal. Great campaign. Loved every second of it. It was beautiful. It was fucking, you're just like, chef's kiss. It's the last great thing Call of Duty's put out. So I've got high hopes for this Black Ops, especially with all the movement and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent about Call of Duty.
I do find the new movement thing interesting, but I'm also like, why didn't they do that sooner? Because other games have been doing that.
Yeah.
Like, for a while. Most of them were third-person shooters, but you could easily implement that into a first-person shooter.
It's exactly what you said. They started doing something new. They started getting more people, and then they flipped it back to what it was. Because everybody was talking about nostalgia and everything like that. And like, yeah, I get it. But you can have the things that people love and do new things at the same time, which is why I love Modern Warfare 2019 so much.
You know, it reminds me, so have you seen this game coming out called Delta Force Hawk Ops?
No, but it sounds like a meme.
So Delta Force was a game franchise from like the early 2000s where like there was a whole camp, like an actual game based on Mogadishu.
Okay.
Where you play as the Delta operators in Black Hawk Down.
Are you serious?
It's an old game, yeah. But Delta Force has a new game coming out. It's free to play. And one of the missions, or I think it's actually like part of the game, Mogadishu. It's a completely remade fucking Black Hawk Down mission.
Delta Force Hawk Ops?
Hawk. You know, like Hawk Tua? Hawk.
Yeah. I've got it up on Steam right now. It looks pretty cool.
The problem with it that I have is they basically took the franchise of Delta Force and futuristic it. Now it's a hero shooter. They turned Delta Force into a fucking hero shooter where each Delta operator has a special ability and all that shit. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And
the whole futuristic, like, make it like you said, the hero shooter type deal. I am tired of that trope, and I just want it to be like you are, a soldier, a marine, a whatever, doing badass shit as a regular dude. Because guess fucking what? People do that in real life.
I know.
And they're badass motherfuckers. Why can't we just play as
the
those
only
people?
reason why I'll play that game is because of the Black Hawk Down part. And I'm hoping that it's an actual full-on Black Hawk Down campaign on its own that you can play in parallel to the actual game, because the game will have a campaign. And it's free to play, so I won't be spending anything on it. The only thing I don't like is that it's very Call of Duty-esque on its gunplay. It's like it's like Modern Warfare and Battlefield together, right? So if you really look at the game, it's not like an actual tactical shooter. It's an arcade shooter. And I don't like that. I don't like it at all. It just feels too arcadey.
You're a tac shooter guy, though.
Yeah, I am a tac shooter guy.
You get hard for those ones.
Dude, I love tac shooter games because the slower movement, the higher, like the crazier time to kill, where it's basically one shot and you're fucking dead. That kind of shit.
I'm slowly growing into those, but I still do love a good arcadey shooter.
The reason why I like them is because I've always been a hardcore game mode player. Call of Duty, I only ever played hardcore. Battlefield, I only ever played hardcore. And people hate it because it's just you die so fast. Yeah, but you can also kill real fast. How I used to run on fucking Battlefield 4s, I'd throw everything I had into semi. I never ran full auto unless it was a machine gun. Semi.
The same way.
Because I could just pop, 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 It was just
It
easier.
feels better. You're like, oh, yeah.
It does feel better. And so getting into hardcore tactical shooters, I like that better because, yeah, it's harder to play. But you got to remember, like, you're not... it's hard for you to play, but it's hard for them to play, too. You just got to get better with, like, playing it, honestly. Hell Let Loose is a good example of that.
I was pretty good at like the hardcore modes in Call of Duty back in the day. I couldn't do regular. I was garbage at them. And now I'm just garbage at both. But now, like back when I was playing it every day in like middle school and stuff, like it was, man, I couldn't hold my own on core, but man, I could go like 35-5 on a hardcore mode because I was just like, oh, this is better. This is easier. I don't have to fucking shoot 60 rounds into a dude.
See, and that's why a lot of people hate the hardcore mode because they think it's too easy. But the truth is, yeah, it's easy for you to kill shit, but it's equally easier for them to kill you. So obviously, yeah, it's a bit easier, but it's also in its own way harder.
Yeah.
And that's why I like it. Anyway, we went off on a tangent with that one. Next up, speaking of price increases, the new Game Pass price increase are downright nefarious. So we all knew it was coming. The long-rumored Game Pass price hike is finally here, and it's much worse than expected. Every tier will be affected, with one being entirely replaced by a more expensive and arguably worse offer. Game Pass Ultimate, the all-access tier that provides online multiplayer on Xbox consoles, as well as Game Pass on console, PC, and cloud, is increasing from $17 to $20. Not a big increase, but the PC Game Pass is also getting an increase from $10 to $12, and the Xbox Game Pass Core, the rebranded Xbox Live Gold, will cost from $60 to $75 annually, but will remain $10 a month. Price increases that offer no extra value are frustrating, but to be expected in the subscription era. Streamers like Netflix, Amazon, and Max have worn us down with annual price increases. Listen, that part, annual, is bullshit. These motherfuckers increase their prices like every 4 months. I swear to God, Netflix has had a price increase twice this year. Like, they straight up have a fucking price increase all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like every fall, every summer, every fall, every summer. They're just nickel and diming you to fucking death.
Yep. I mean, shit. You look back on how much it was when it first came out to now is
crazy.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. So they've all worn us down with price hikes to the point where it's difficult to find the energy to even get mad about it anymore, which I think that's obviously by design. You might even convince me that $20 a month for the best gaming subscription around is still a good value, but the change Microsoft is making to the standard console tier goes far beyond a simple price increase. The new Game Pass standard tier will force console-only players to pay more for less, or keep their current subscription forever out of fear of losing it. So the Game Pass naming schemes are confusing, but I'll try to make this as simple as possible. Game Pass for console, the $11 basic service that provides full access to Game Pass for Xbox users, will no longer be available to new subscribers. In its place is a new $15 tier called Game Pass Standard, which includes access to online multiplayer, but does not include day one releases. You get to pay $48 more to not have access to Fable, Perfect Dark, Black Ops 6, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Doom, The Dark Ages, or Gears of War E-Day. So you have to pay more, and you don't get these. Having access to launch titles is the biggest selling point for Game Pass. That's not just my opinion, it's Xbox's. You can see that on Xbox Game Pass for console store page. Play new games the same day at launch is the first thing you see, right at the top. Now, Microsoft is getting rid of that feature for console players in an attempt to push them into a more expensive Game Pass Ultimate tier. The fact that Ultimate and this new standard tier are more expensive than previous offers just adds insult to injury. So the quick and dirty chart by me to display the new Xbox Game Pass structure. So the Game Pass Core, Game Pass Standard, $15 a month for Standard. No day one. Game Pass Ultimate gets everything. The PC Game Pass. Multiplayer is free on PC, and they do get day one. So PC players will pay less than what console players pay on the standard and get day one access. So the PC Game Pass is $11.99 a month. The console standard Game Pass is $14.99 a month. So if you are a console player and you want day one access like PC players, you have to pay $20 a month. Whereas PC players will only have to pay $12.
Which is unfair.
Super unfair.
It's pretty much the same list of games. Like,
so
I don't think it's 1-to-1, but it's like most of the games that you'd want to play have a PC port.
There are also drawbacks too. So PC players do, so the limited catalog of 25 plus games on console is not applied to PC players, but console players, yes. So the Ultimate gives you, the only additional thing is Xbox Cloud Gaming. PC doesn't get that. So to be fair, Standard will now include online multiplayer, which is a current Game Pass for console subscription does not. People who wanted Game Pass and online were already subscribed to Ultimate. So there's a very thin niche of players that will benefit from this new option. If you're the kind of person that has Xbox but not a PC, has no interest in cloud gaming and likes to play games online but only plays old games, Game Pass for console will save you a few bucks a month. In reality, Game Pass Standard is the medium-sized fountain drink at the movie theater that only costs 50 cents less than the large one. An intentionally unattractive offer designed to make more expensive option look better. Current Game Pass for console subscribers can keep their $11 sub and access to new games as long as they never cancel or let their subscription lapse. This might seem generous at first, but this is a common tactic cell phone companies use to maintain subscribers. People with these so-called grandfathered plans are afraid to lose such great deals and feel like they deserve their plan for being such a long-time customer. Instead of pausing their subscription when they're using their service less often, legacy subscribers will feel like they're forced to keep their subscription going. So for Microsoft, it's a win-win. So basically, yes, your old subscription will be grandfathered in, provided that you never cancel or ever let it lapse. So basically, if you're not using it, what people would do is like, I'm not using it, I'll just cancel and then resubscribe when I'm using it again. Now, if you want to keep all those features, you have to keep your fucking subscription going, regardless of how often you're using it. Otherwise, you lose that. You lose it all.
So it seems like they're just trying to keep people from canceling.
Right.
Like that's all that's going on here.
Yes. So what's more disappointing about these changes are what they say about Game Pass. Watching it follow the same path as every other stagnant subscription service all but proves the Game Pass dream is dead. It's no longer growing its user base, so Microsoft will start increasing the price and decreasing the value to achieve something that looks like profitability on a financial report. It will continue to get worse and worse, just like Netflix and Amazon, as it slowly squeezes its remaining customers, always asking for more, offering less. I can foresee what will happen if it keeps going down this road. PC subscribers will lose access to new releases. Then Microsoft will introduce the Ultimate Pass with new benefits that should have been added to Ultimate to balance out the price increases. One day, new releases may not be part of Game Pass at all. Price hikes are one thing, but this is a disappointing direction that does not bode well for the future of Game Pass. I see that too. I honestly see that where they will look at day one access as, hey, we're not capitalizing off how much we can make off of the day one shit. Let's get rid of that from the Game Pass completely.
Yeah.
Because, why pay less for a full price game?
Yeah.
You know,
it sucks. It sucks seeing this stuff happen all the time, especially with just quick thing, like just with the whole economics for everyone. You know what I mean? Like they said in the last article, it's like everyone's kind of struggling here. Why are you increasing prices here? You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
Like
it's crazy because like these companies are always saying, oh, the economic strain is this economic squeeze is causing us to raise our prices, but they are still insanely profitable. They could technically not increase their prices and be fine. The way that the economy works is that it always is going up, going down, going up, going down. Hopefully it goes back up and kind of balances out at some point. But it always happens. When the economy, I don't get where the logic is when people are struggling financially, companies raise prices on shit.
Mm-hmm.
What's the logic? Arizona Iced Tea, for example, that CEO, they were asking him, why aren't you raising the prices of your drink? He's like, why would I? We own everything. No. You know, our bills are paid. We own everything. We're not in debt. Mm-hmm. We don't need to. We're already profitable. Yeah. We don't need to raise. Why put the strain on other people just to make a few extra bucks off our drink?
Mm-hmm. And it makes me wonder too, like, you know, when it comes to this, talking about like a financial sheet at the end of the year, looking at how much you made, how much are you really making by raising your price? Because you're going to lose a lot of customers, right?
Yes.
So you're pretty much raising your prices to lose customers and, like you said, just make a couple extra dollars in the grand scheme of things.
Pretty much, yeah. I never really understood the reason. I can understand raising prices of production things because the cost of materials and shit were going up and stuff. That I understand why the price goes up on that. But for services, here's a good example, right? So Disney Plus they are another subscription service that raises their prices basically every 6 months, semi-annually or whatever the fuck. So you see these subscription companies raise their prices and offer very little in return for value. Disney Plus, for example, how they raise the prices on shit, but if you look at the stuff that they put out, Star Wars, for example, it's all shit. It's shit. Mm-hmm. Yet they spend so much fucking money on each episode. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example. Star Wars Acolyte. One episode of Star Wars Acolyte cost more than the entirety budget of Godzilla -1.
Really?
Yeah. One episode of Star Wars Acolyte was almost 2 to 3 times more than the budget of Godzilla -1. One episode. I think they said it was like $180 million per episode.
That's a thing. Like, it's the whole, hey, look at the quality of the visuals and what we can do with all of this cool stuff, right? And they negate a good writer's room. You can do a whole lot more with less with a good writer's room than you can with crazy good special effects.
And the special effects aren't even that good.
No.
I will say this, Acolyte has some of the best lightsaber fights.
In recent years, yeah.
There's some pretty fucking good lightsaber fights, but the writing for the entirety of the show is fucking dog shit, bro. Dog shit. It's like the CW made a fucking Star Wars show.
I mean, they said they hired people that never
seen Star Wars
or know anything about Star Wars. So like, why would you? That doesn't make sense to me. And I get it. I get the idea of having someone in the room that doesn't necessarily know, and the perception from the outside looking in, maybe to bring in a new fan. But there are things like, for example, the twins being born of magic or the Force or whatever it was.
Yeah,
that was something unique to the Skywalker story. That's like he is the chosen one because he was born of the Force, right? Now that's all kaput. That it makes Anakin not really that special anymore, him coming in to the Jedi Order at an older age. Like they just took everything that made Anakin special and put it in to the twins and said, "Here you go," and expected everybody to be like cool about it. It's like, no, that like negates everything. Just tears everything apart. It's dumb. And they put Ki-Adi-Mundi in there for some reason and changed his age.
I was about to say that. They changed his age and said, well, it's not really for sure how long they live. Basically, I thought the canon was his species only lives to be like 60 something years old.
Yeah, like a human.
And this would basically make him 100 something plus years old. Or more. Like, so and the Sith haven't been seen in centuries or whatever the fuck. So
yeah,
that right there, it's like if he's in there, either he willingly did not tell the Jedi Order that the Sith were back, or he didn't know, which means that all the Jedi that did see the Sith were back are going to die. Yeah. So it's one of those two things. So it's either, okay, all of them are going to die. We know that now. Or he just doesn't like give that information because for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And of course they pick the option where all the Jedi just die. They get killed by that Sith.
I haven't finished it.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
It's fine. I haven't had any real desire to really watch it. So
it's not worth it. And then they showed the bleeding the crystal.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they showed it. They showed that one chick, she bled her crystal, bled her lightsaber, and then it would like turn red in the middle of the fight, which is weird because
in the middle of the fight,
yeah, she like whips out her lightsaber at the fucking dude, and then it's blue and it starts to slowly turn red.
That's not how it's supposed to work.
I know.
That's so upsetting. That's not how that's supposed to work.
I know.
You're supposed to put all your hate into it and like hold it. Put all your hate into it and fucking bleed it.
That's what happens. Like you see her bleeding her saber, and then like within her rage, she like activates her lightsaber at the dude. I call him Smiley because I don't know what the fuck his name is. And she's pissed and then activates her lightsaber at him in her rage, and within her rage, her lightsaber goes from blue and starts to slowly turn red.
I guess I can't be too upset about that because it's like, what do we really know about bleeding them? Because all I've ever seen of it is like, I think it was the Vader comic books or something like that. Like, he pulled the crystal out and held the actual crystal. He didn't do it through the hilt. But I mean, at the same time, I guess I'm choosing to be upset about something there in a minor detail.
But it also doesn't
really
explain why Anakin's saber didn't do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
that's a good point.
And they were trying to explain, well, Anakin's saber didn't do that because he wasn't filled with as much hate as what's her face was. And you have to think he killed children and the Jedi Order and was slaying younglings and force choked his pregnant wife and fighting his mentor and best friend and was just angry with him. That doesn't get more hateful than that and horrible than that.
No, it doesn't.
But yet his saber still stayed the same color, never turned red.
It's true. It's a good point.
So why did hers turn red in the middle of it?
I just hate the bragging is what I hate. I think that's what pisses me off the most. I'm pretty good at stuff like this, being able to be like, okay, whatever, like they dropped the ball on it. But I hate the bragging of like knowingly doing the wrong thing
and being proud of it
by the writers and the producers and everything like that. And they're like, no, we're gonna do everything wrong and you're gonna love it. And it's like, no,
we don't
we're
care.
gonna hate it.
We don't care what the fan base thinks. We want to do our own thing. And they're like, yes, girl power, yes. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. That part was, that was, my wife's laughing, and I'm like, that's an actual line. That's how they do it. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. And they wave their arms like that. That's a legit fucking thing in the show.
I remember seeing that.
And I was watching it just like I almost physically recoiled at how bad it was.
The only thing that got me excited in that show was seeing a live action Wookiee Jedi. This is the only thing that I was like, this is fucking cool.
I mean, you eventually do see the fight.
I haven't seen their fight. Just seeing him walking around, I was like, oh.
I
knew about them, but yeah, they're really real.
Yeah. Do you really want to know what also happens at the end?
No. I'm gonna watch it. Now that we're talking about it, I'm gonna watch it.
All right, there's a cameo at the end of it. There's 2 cameos at the end of it. One of the cameos, I'm like, all right, cool. It just sucks that that cameo was here in this show. It could have been anywhere else, and I would have been excited about it. But it's in this, so I'm torn because they're trying to set up season 2. And I just am like, I don't want this individual that was cameoed to even be associated with this fucking show.
Go ahead and tell me. Now I just want to know.
Darth Plagueis. The Wise.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's a small cameo at the very end. And you see him like
fucking
peeking
serious?
out of the shadows, yeah.
That's the coolest fucking cameo ever. And it's... Okay, yeah, now I see what you're saying.
And then the other cameo is Yoda.
I had a feeling Yoda. I mean, he's obviously alive during that time period.
Yeah, but
if Kiadi Mundi's alive...
Darth Plagueis the Wise is also briefly shown. Peeking out of the shadows looking. You kind of see half his face and shit.
I would love just a show. I would love a show of Darth Plagueis and Palpatine, and watching just them two, Plagueis training Palpatine, going through the whole story that he told Anakin and everything like that. I would love to fucking see that.
Yeah, and that's now you understand why I said this cameo, as awesome as I'm happy to see that he's there in the, like, we're gonna see a Darth Plagueis the Wise in live action. I'm not excited at the fact that it's tied with the Acolyte.
I was gonna say maybe they'll do better, but I know they won't.
They will not.
I'm gonna give up any hope on it right now and just hope for something new. I want Dave Filoni to make something. I just want Dave Filoni to do everything.
I know. Let's build a glorious keyboard together. Fantastic. An Introducing the new glorious Fox Switches Linear Lubed. Silky. Smooth. Oh, wow. Glorious. All right, next topic, last in the gaming world before we dive into some military shit, one of which that is pretty important. So the dreaded blue screen of death hits Windows systems across the globe amid major IT outage. And I can tell you right now, whoever fucking coded this is fired. Absolutely fired. So, like, in a bad way.
Oh, yeah.
So companies across the world are suffering an IT outage that affects Windows operating systems. Flights have been canceled, banking halted, and commerce, healthcare, and travel delayed amid one of the most significant global IT outages ever. TV studios were even forced to pause broadcasting. The CrowdStrike cooked Sky News. So, when this first happened, everybody thought cyber attack.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought cyber attack because I'm like, look at what was affected, right? So travel was affected, banking was affected, healthcare was affected. First thing I thought was like, these are very major things. This has to be a cyber attack. Nope. It was bad code. That's all it was. Somebody pushed out an update on a day that they shouldn't have, and it wasn't fucking tested before they did it. That's the other problem. They didn't QA it at all. They just rolled it out. There's a reason, and this is why CrowdStrike is facing such backlash, and we'll get into it. So the outage has to do with a defect in cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike software, which has had the knock-on effect of causing the dreaded blue screen of death to appear on monitors across the globe. This person said, something super weird happening right now and just been called by several totally different media outlets in the last few minutes. All the window machines suddenly blue screens, like blue screening. Anyone else seen this seems to be entering recovery mode. This is not a security incident or cyber attack. It is a security incident. I will say this right now. The fact, even though this was like an issue on CrowdStrike's end that they fucked up, it's a security issue. Because this shows you how vulnerable shit is. If something like this can cripple so much, that's a security problem.
Yeah.
So the issue has been identified, isolating, and fix has been deployed. That's not the problem, though. The fix was deployed, but you have to manually go into each of these devices to do it. However, it will take that's a lot of work. It's a lot. However, it will take some time before the outage is resolved, causing chaos today. So it says someone somewhere is the person who pressed go on the software update, and right now they know exactly what they did and what it has done. And as someone who knows that sinking feeling when you realize you screwed up at work, I cannot imagine the state of them right now. Fucking like, oh shit, I'm fucking out of a job. I'm never going to work again here.
Yep.
CrowdStrike blamed the issue on one of its updates for Windows. Shares that in the company were down more than 20% in unofficial trading in the U.S., amounting to an incredible $16 billion loss in value. Microsoft also suffered a drop in value pre-market trading, although by a more modest 2%. CrowdStrike dropped 20%. That's fucking crazy. Meanwhile, the internet, of course, is having its fun with the outage, and the memes are already flooding out. Microsoft right now. This is fine. It said Happy International Blue Screen Day, and it's just everybody's in this meeting room with all their blue screen.
Oh, they're all happy because it's Friday, and they're like, I ain't got work. I might go home early.
People that are not IT workers are like, hell yeah, 3-day weekend. IT workers are like, I'm not getting a weekend off. So George Kurt, CEO of CrowdStrike, issued a statement below. CrowdStrike is actively working with customers impacted by a defect found in a single content update for Windows hosts. Mac and Linux hosts are not impacted. This is not a security incident or cyber attack. The issue has been identified, isolated, and a fix has been deployed. We refer customers to the support portal for the latest updates and will continue to provide complete and continuous updates on our website. We further recommend organizations issue communicating with CrowdStrike representatives through official channels. Our team is fully mobilized to ensure the security and stability of CrowdStrike customers. Now, here's the issue. Here's what happened. Now, I'm a software developer. I'm a fucking entry-level, junior-level software developer. So take my statements with a fucking grain of salt because I could be wrong in some of this. So based off of what I've seen is somebody did this, like they programmed this update. What happened was they fucked up the code on what's called a pointer. So the pointer in this is code that directs the software to look at data. And the data that it was pointing at was either data that it can't access or data that doesn't actually exist. And it's all in the boot process, right? So it reads. So basically, this update was a kernel level. It's a kernel level software, which means it goes deep into the computer's files that run the computer to, run its security shit. The pointer was pointing at something that either didn't exist or did not have access to within the computer's deep startup files. And it was causing the computers to crash on booting. So basically, you would start your computer, it would crash in the startup process.
Yeah.
And it just would constantly cycle this. One of the other issues was the pointer had what was called an infinite loop, which means it would constantly look for that data because it couldn't find it or didn't have access to it, so it infinitely looped. They didn't put a terminator in there, which the terminator would be like, if it can't find that, then this. So like if it can't find that, then it does this. But it didn't. Okay. I'm assuming that there wasn't any kind of loop terminator, so it just kept looping. It can't find it, keep looking. Can't find it, keep looking. Crash. Start up. Can't find it, keep looking. So when you boot a computer in safe mode, it completely overwrites all of that. So the only fix was you had to manually go into these computers, boot in a safe mode if you could, go into the actual files in safe mode, find the file that is causing this, and delete it. That was it. CrowdStrike, these updates are not manual updates. These software updates were pushed out automatically.
Yeah.
So your software updates itself. You don't have the option to actually manually update it. Now, this only affected people that were using this system. So it's companies, not your individual computer. Like my computer was not affected by this. But companies, like my mom works for a medical company, they were down. And I told her, I said, I can come over and fix it. But she's like, I don't want you to do that. I don't want to get fired. Because I'm not the IT person for their company. And if I do something and fuck it up, that's on her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the only way to fix it is to manually do it, which is a big problem because this is billions of pieces of equipment that are just out there with different companies. And a lot of people with working remote lately, that is not possible. Your only option is to have them send the equipment back to the company and then send a new piece of equipment to them. Right?
Thankfully, I didn't have to deal with any of that. Like it didn't do anything to my laptop. The only thing it messed up for me was like clocking in, and whatever system that's on was fucked up. So I couldn't access my clock in page for a couple hours. But yeah, thankfully, because if that would have happened, I would have been on the phone like, hey, I can't do my fucking job and have to wait a few days for a new device.
Well, I also could have walked you through how to do it.
I would have just sent it to him and been like, I'm going to take the day off. I'm going to go have a drink.
And this
Send me a new
this is
computer.
how you know Blake's not an IT guy. I'm just gonna take this as an opportunity to just kind of fucking do my own thing.
I mean, yeah.
Any excuse to like take more time off work is a good excuse for me. Meanwhile, I'm like, hey, I can fix that for you so you don't have to send that shit back.
It's like, nah. Well, this computer also sucks. So I honestly, I say that would have sucked. I probably would have been pretty happy because this motherfucker, like, half the time, if it goes into sleep mode, it takes forever for me to turn it back on. It just fucking, it's a shitty, it's slow, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I should probably honestly call them and be like, I need a new one. It'll be my third laptop with this company.
This Microsoft issue, and people are blaming Microsoft. It's not Microsoft. It's CrowdStrike. But like, this goes to show you that we have too much reliance on one operating system.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but each operating system relying too much on one cybersecurity company to run it all.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you need options. You know.
Yeah.
And granted, this is probably the only real fuck up they've ever had, but it's so significant that they probably will never recover from that, ever.
Mm-mm.
There's no fucking way, because can you even see my teeth? Yeah, my mustache has covered my teeth, so it looks like I have no teeth. But there's no way that they can recover from this, you know. On top of that, so this is one of the things I was going to dive into. So CrowdStrike had mass amounts of layoffs last year, to include QA workers.
QA?
Quality assurance.
Gotcha.
So the people that test things before they roll them out. So
Okay.
the thing about this whole update was, if this was properly tested, they would have caught that. There's no way this could have gotten by. No way it would have gotten by if it was through the QA process. The fact that it went through anyway tells me they either missed it, or, which is more likely than not, they didn't test it at all and they rolled it out. And that poor fucking intern that made this shit was probably on a crunch to get this update going and was told, push this out today as soon as you can. All right. Didn't get to test it. Nothing. Just finished it and said, should be good. Rolled it out. Uh-oh. And this is why you don't roll out on Fridays.
I wonder how bad it's going to affect that dude's career. Like, you know, he lost his job, A. And B, whenever he tries to go find a new one in the same field, what happened? I got fired. Why'd you get fired? Let me call your boss. Oh, you're the guy. You know? Or team of people. There's no way it was just one person.
I'm trying to figure out, so I'm trying to look up real quick. Let's see. CrowdStrike. So, yeah, a lot of small businesses are actually kind of picking up. So CrowdStrike suffers a major outage affecting businesses. Let's see if this actually talks about a lot of the things that CrowdStrike was doing prior to this. So they, I can't find anything, but I did see that CrowdStrike did have layoffs with a lot of people. So they were working, they're like everybody that's doing layoffs, right? All these companies are doing layoffs, and this goes to show you that mass layoffs can be detrimental. You know, especially if you cut QA. For some reason, in every layoff for any tech company, QA is always the first to go. That's the first to get. That's the first to get downsized. You would think that, like, maybe we don't want to get rid of QA because they're our last line of defense for anything.
Yeah,
they can find issues that maybe the developers didn't catch. They're the second pair of eyes before we roll out our shit. So we're gonna cut that first. No, that doesn't seem like a good idea, because issues like this, where you have people, where you have these cuts, or you have these issues, and these, whenever something gets rolled out like that, and it's a fucking problem. But yeah, CrowdStrike is fucked, dude. They are so fucked. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of funny. But yeah, if you were affected by that, hopefully you guys figured out a fix and you guys are back on the road. But still, even today, airports are affected by it, right? So people are just piled up in these fucking airports. Medical stuff, medical thing is another problem. So if you have prescriptions, hopefully you don't need a refill anytime soon, because those.
I mean, hopefully those are prioritized to get the fix and be like, hey, this is how you fix it. Fucking do it. You know what I mean?
Usually, so you kind of like, hey, here's the fix. And it's not so much like they prioritize that over others. It was more of like it's on the IT department for each branch to figure it out, to fix it. Right? So
Makes sense.
So the medical industry, it's like your hospital IT guys or whatever, whoever's working IT for that company, for whatever medical company, is on them to fix that. We told you how to fix. We rolled back the update and pushed out a fix. The problem is, in order to do the fix, you have to go into the computer manually to get rid of the old shit so that the new shit can update.
Gotcha.
So that's why this is such a problem. This isn't an easy like, oh, we pushed out a fix that should patch the problem. No, you have to manually go into these devices in order for it to be able to do that. You have to delete the file. I got to see what the file looked like that it was pointing to, and it was all zeros, which means it was null values. There was no data that it was trying to point to for the startup of the PC. Null values mean there was nothing there, and it just kept going. Null, zeros, all down the board. So it was not reading.
That's actually wild.
It wasn't reading the startup value, so it just kept fucking trying to read the startup value, and it would just crash.
It's wild that the pointer was nothing.
Oh yeah,
like there wasn't like how do you mess that up? You know what I mean?
Honestly, easily. It's very easy. Like you could just fucking put an integer or you can have the pointer look at the wrong thing.
Gotcha.
Read the wrong file.
So in my head, you said zeros, so I assumed that it meant like they didn't even put anything for it to point at. Like the pointer was empty.
When it comes to so basically what it's supposed to do when you want the pointer to read, you want it to read a file, right?
Yeah.
That file usually has the data that you want it to fucking loop through and read and then put an output out. So it was probably something within the pointer that was pointing at a file that either didn't exist or had nothing in it. It was the file itself that held the data. So it was probably not pointing at the file at all. It was pointing at nothing.
Gotcha.
So it's hard to really explain what a pointer is, because a pointer is not a something. It's we call it a pointer because it's like that, like want you to read that. That's why we call it a pointer. So in the pointer, it was probably, and like I said, I'm a junior level fucking developer. I could be completely wrong on what happened. It was probably pointing at something that was correct, but it was not looping properly or whatever the fuck. But essentially, the pointer was, it could be something like they misspelled the file or whatever the fuck. Something as easy as that. Something super simple where it was just they fucked up the spelling of something or whatever.
Yeah. That's understandable. It was just the first time you said it. I thought you meant like it was blank. Like,
or actually, I heard someone say it was because they were missing a semicolon. So in programming, when you end a block of code, you end it with a semicolon. That's how it knows to stop. That's how the computer stops that block of code, because the semicolon is like, well, that's the end of that line, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have a
period.
But if you don't have a semicolon, usually the IDE or whatever they're programming on will tell you it's an error immediately. It says, hey, you're missing a semicolon and here's where. Oh, okay. Which tells me they either didn't see it and then pushed it out, or didn't test it.
Probably it had to be the latter. It had to be just no
I don't
test.
think they tested it. Yeah. But I don't understand how they didn't see it, because it would tell you. I've seen this shit. If you don't have a semicolon, the whole thing yells at you. But there are times, I will say this, where I have missed a semicolon and that block of code was being read inside of another block of code that did have a semicolon, and it didn't come up as an error. So that could also be where it was like, this is all like, it's just as simple as a missing semicolon.
Gotcha.
Like I said,
That sucks.
It could be
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it could be looking in the right place, but because you fucking forgot the semicolon, it was looking in the right place forever.
Yeah. That's a lot of pressure to do all that stuff.
I know, and that's why software developers get paid a lot, and that's probably why they don't want to hire me, because I'm blank. I'm gonna be kind of honest with you. I'm kind of retarded. You know, they look at my fucking work history. They're like, oh, he's got some education in this. Then you look at my work history, fucking security officer, pipe fitter, army. It's like, this dude's a fucking like ground pounder. He doesn't know shit about IT. So throw his resume in the trash. You know,
Get him out of here. Get out of here.
yeah, this dude's not a nerd. Get him out of here. It's like, no, but I am a nerd. I know how to use brain. I'm smart sometimes.
We have technology. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, technology. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I honestly wonder if like my professional experience is why these companies overlook me.
Probably.
Because it's like education in like computer sciences, professional experience in fucking meathead shit. You know?
Probably. Honestly.
And it sucks because it's like, dude, yeah, I had a career change. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that shit anymore. I was more interested in, and I often will, what I'll do is, if an application, I should start doing cover letters, but my applications, some of them have like, why this? Mm-hmm. And I often explain like my time in service and stuff. I've decided to shift into this career due to, you know, not being able to physically keep up with the demand of the job that I was doing. Focusing more on something that, you know, uses a different part, like uses my brain, uses my intellect, where I can actually like use the intellect that I have, and all that shit. I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of stupid. So
I do highly recommend a cover letter, by the way, because some people, if you don't have one, they will not even look at your resume.
Yeah, I really should start doing cover letters because I just haven't been, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely do that. I've heard of people like apply, like Kate was applying for other jobs, trying to find something new, a little higher paying, and in the descriptions they were like, oh, by the way, if you don't have a cover letter, we're not looking at your resume.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe it would behoove me to do that.
It 100% would.
All right, fucking, I'll start working on cover letters. So into military news, we're going to start off with something very sad.
Yeah.
Very scary. I can already see it on your face, like you were like kind of panicked at this.
No, it kind of is, because that's the day, literally the day I'm moving in to the new place, which I didn't tell you. We are just waiting on our approval letter, but we talked to people at the townhome place, and they were like, oh yeah, no, like your finances, everything looks good. We're just waiting on it to run through the system so we can send you an approval letter. But we got a nice little 3-bedroom townhome with a basement.
Well,
we'll have a little basement area.
The little bit of hope is that like there is time for your Congress to actually be cool with this and like fix it.
Yeah.
The one thing that I did see people were encouraging to do is write your congressman and say that this budget needs to happen. Veteran benefits absolutely cannot be affected. And if they don't, you know, vote in favor of increasing the budget for the VA healthcare, that you won't vote for them. Mm-hmm. Whether or not they'll care is on them. But anyway, so VA urges lawmakers to approve $15 billion to fund budget gap or risk delays, cuts to veteran benefits and care. We have all this money to give to fucking illegals, and send to Ukraine, but we can't fucking fund the VA.
Ridiculous.
So the Department of Veteran Affairs on Thursday said Congress must move quickly to approve supplemental funding for the agency to... Did I send you this?
Yeah, you did. I got it up.
Okay. to close an estimated $15 billion spending gap through fiscal year 2025 to avoid delays and cuts to veteran benefits and care. Disability compensation and pension benefit payments to veterans scheduled to be delivered October 1st are at risk of being delayed if the VA does not receive an estimated $3 billion to address a budget shortfall for the remainder of fiscal year 2024, which ends September 30th, said Terrence Hayes, the VA press secretary. He also said the VA might be forced to cut veteran services and care in fiscal 2025 if Congress does not agree to the agency's $369 billion spending plan. A $12 billion budget shortfall is projected next fiscal year without the additional funds. If the Veteran Health Administration does not receive additional funding, the VA will continue to provide high-quality health care to veterans, but will make adjustments to remain within the current budget. That doesn't sound like quality health care to me. If you have to make adjustments, that's not high quality. And we already know that the fucking VA's care is not high quality. So you mean it's going to be lower than what it is? It's budget cuts, bro. Fucking VA, dude.
Which is like you said when you brought this up after our short little break, it's going to come out of our pockets.
Yeah, to fill that gap is going to come out of our pockets. Mm-hmm. Like I said, governments can fucking spend money on wars, but they can't front the cost when it's over. So it says here, demand for the VA services exceeded expectations as a record number of veterans now seek VA services and benefits, he said. At the same time, the VA is reporting higher prices for prescription drugs and more hiring costs to fill critical vacancies at VA hospitals and clinics. Democratic lawmakers for the House and Senate Veterans Affairs Committees expressed support Thursday for providing the funds to cover the shortfall, while some Republican members criticized the VA for not anticipating higher spending needs. More veterans and their families are accessing their earned benefits than ever before, and they should not be shortchanged. This is the cost of war, and I will continue working to do the right by each and every one of them, said Senator John Tester, who is a chairman of the Senate VA committee. But Representative Mike Buss, chairman of the House VA committee, accused the VA Secretary Dennis McDonough and other VA leaders of misleading lawmakers in the testimony at budget hearings in the spring. This is not a fiscal mismanagement, it's a strategic whiplash, Buss said about the $15 billion shortfall through 2025. Chief financial officers from the VA, Veterans Benefits Administration, and Veteran Health Administration apprised lawmakers this week of the anticipated budget shortfall and their expectations for additional funds. Representative Mark Takano of California, the top Democrat of the House VA committee, said he is encouraging fellow lawmakers to work with the VA to cover the shortfall and ensure benefits to veterans continue. Spending conversations for fiscal 2025 are still very much ongoing, and there is time to address this like adults before the next fiscal year. We will need to have a hard, honest conversation how we will pay for health care that veterans have earned. But Takano said that he continues to be concerned about the rising costs for covering private health care for veterans who seek non-VA medical services in their communities. So community care. Veterans are able to get the treatment from private health care providers related to injuries and illnesses from military duty if needed. Services are not readily available at the VA facilities near their homes. Takano warned a cost shift is underway to the private sector that risks reducing the quality of care at VA hospitals and clinics. I've been sounding the alarm for months about the push for privatization through community care and how community care is more expensive and has far less oversight than the direct VA care. Maybe if the VA could actually fucking give you good care, we wouldn't need to do this. Hayes said that the agency will not continue its recent pace of hiring VA hospitals and clinics to meet veterans' demand for more services following the passage of Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson honoring our promises to address Comprehensive Toxics Act. The law provides medical care and monthly disability compensation to veterans diagnosed with diseases connected to toxic exposures from burn pits, radiation, and weapons testing sites, and aerial spraying of Agent Orange and other herbicides. Since the PACT Act became law, more than 710,000 veterans have enrolled in VA healthcare. Additional funds from Congress will enable the VA to fill vacancies and new positions in critical areas, he said. VA will continue to strategically hire in several key areas, such as mental health care at targeted locations, such as locations with ongoing increases in healthcare enrollees. The VA does not have a hiring freeze, he said. That's bullshit. I know they do because I've been applying. And VA workers have told me there is.
Getting lied to.
VA nurses held a rally in Washington last month to protest what they described as a national shortage of nurses at VA hospitals and clinics. The VA is networking closely with Congress and the White House office to management budget resolve potential shortfalls in a way that prevents any adverse impacts on veterans and allows us to continue to deliver care and benefits to veterans at record rates. This is a fucking problem because we are always the ones that, whenever it comes to like a budget cut, we are always on the chopping block. Always on the chopping block. And the thing that pisses me off is that we have so much money to spend on stupid shit, but it never goes to us. We've spent, how much money have we sent to fucking Ukraine? Several $100 billion.
Really good question.
I'll look this up.
It's ridiculous.
How much money has the U.S. sent to Ukraine? First thing that pops up. $53.7 billion in military assistance since the war began. And every time there's a fucking bill that gets proposed, it doesn't matter if it has anything to do with Ukraine or not. There's a fucking Ukraine like expense in there.
What's really fucked up about it too is the whole so I saw something about the last like really big one, and people were like, no, we're not sending it to them in money, we're sending it to them in assets and old, like, you know, military vehicles and stuff like that, and weapons.
Bullshit.
That we don't use anymore. However, and like it was saying that equated to that price, and that's where that number came from. But if we were, I don't know, smart, we would sell it to them at a discounted rate instead of giving it away. Get some of the money back that we spent on that shit, man, and then relay it back into things that we need here. We can make money off of it. We don't have to give it to them. Nothing is saying we have to give it to them. Sell it to them at a discounted rate. They've got fucking money.
Now, I can tell you right now, us giving them that amount of money in assets is mostly bullshit. And the reason why I say that is because it's been shown that Zelensky and his wife have been buying yachts, mansions, exotic cars. His wife was in France, bought a fucking Bugatti.
But her people are at war and dying.
Yes. Let's see. Zelensky's yachts. They're saying it's Russian propaganda, but it's bullshit. They're saying it's fake news. Of course, when I Google it, it's fake.
We've given them a lot of straight up cash and assets, and the assets should be fucking sold, and we should not be giving them cash.
No. Even still, though, it's like the money can be used, the money that we send them can be used on anything else. And one of the things is, like, we've been at war for 20 fucking years, and we can't take care, and like our government can't take care of us. It's been like that since fucking Vietnam, dude. Where veteran benefits are always on the back burner for a lot of these motherfuckers. And
it's also that mentality of, well, you signed up for it.
Yeah, no one forced you to go in. It's like, yeah, no one forced me to do it, but I fucking did it. Meanwhile, you guys sit all fat and happy in your office and determine whether or not I get compensated at the end of it. Bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit.
And also, like, that's the other thing too. Like, you sign and you know that, hey, there are benefits that do come after your service. Like, that's part of the deal. That's part of what recruiters tell you to get you to sign. Is it's like when you're done with your contract, there are going to be things available to you you otherwise would not have access to.
Yeah.
And then you get out, and then you have to read about, hey, by the way, we're gonna have to delay your payment because we can't agree on spending this money. Like, and don't. That's another thing too, is I hate this whole like, well, we just don't have the money. Don't tell me that. We are trillions of dollars in debt. We don't have any money. Our government has $0. If you look at how much we're in debt, we have $0. That's how fucking debt works. You don't, that money is not yours until the debt is gone. You're just signing shit away and just adding on to the fucking bill. Maybe do it for us one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And that's how it works.
It sucks. It makes me want to fucking. It makes me like want to just burn it all on the fucking ground. Honestly, that's just. I'm just spitballing bullshit. I'm not actually gonna burn it to the ground. Maybe, I don't know.
Let's move on to something happier.
This next one's not that fucking happy either. So. Troops will start getting economic hardship bonuses this month, though only $20 on average. I find it very funny that this dude's holding a fucking brick of cash. You know?
It's ironic.
So the Air Force dispersing officer shows a stack of U.S. currency from within the cash cage during the immersion tour at Incirlik Air Base, Turkey. What the fuck is that for?
They probably work in finance. So there's my uncle is finance in the National Guard, and he told me about it before. But they have areas of just bricks of cash, and part of it is like finance dudes will go like overseas. So when grunts are out and fucking doing operations and shit, if they needed to pay some villager for fucking information or for killing their camel or whatever, they would walk around with cases of fucking money, and they would sign off for it. Just be like, here you go, and just give out fucking cash all willy-nilly just to pay people for their happiness.
Yet they might delay paying us, so fuck them.
Yep.
So the Pentagon says that it's finally ready to pay troops the economic hardship bonuses that Congress authorized last year to help offset rising prices and higher costs of living across the country. But the sums troops will get seem unlikely to make a major impact, putting renewed attention on lawmakers to do more. A senior defense official told the military.com in an interview Friday that troops in the most junior ranks E1 to E3 will automatically see the bonuses in their paychecks starting this month and going through December, but on average they'll be getting only $20 a month. The monthly bonus amounts on average will total approximately $120 over the 6 months. They're based on the funding Congress has made available, explained the official who spoke to military.com on the condition they remain anonymous. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill concerned that service member pay was not keeping pace with the private sector or inflation included $43 million in the latest defense spending bill to provide bonuses for anyone up to the E6 in rank. Though Congress authorized the bonuses in December in the National Defense Authorization Act, it did not provide funding for the benefit until late March when lawmakers finally passed a bill to fund Pentagon through the remainder of fiscal year 2024. The defense official explained that broadly the Pentagon took that appropriated $43 million and decided how many service members it could pay before the money ran out. The result is that the bonuses will go to those up to the pay grades of E3, not E6, is allowed by law and will benefit around 266,000 people. We chose the pay grades because the amount of money that Congress appropriated and what we could pay that would fit within that appropriation. The official also noted that even though service members receive 2 paychecks a month, the bonus will be paid at the end of each month. So while it's welcome news that the department will provide some junior listed service members with temporary bonus pay as authorized by the NDAA, Justine Tripathi, a spokesperson for the White House or for the House Armed Services Committee, told military.com in an emailed statement noting that this is why the upcoming NDA provides junior listed service members with a 19.5% pay increase. In June, the House moved forward with the version of the annual defense policy bill that would give a huge 15% pay increase for E1 to E4 on top of a 4.5% increase for all troops. That proposal would mean junior enlisted troops would get a 19.5% pay increase next year. It feels like a lot, but I don't think it is.
Like percentage-wise, it's a lot, but it's also not. It's not going to change your life. You know, it's going to be like, oh, okay, cool. I got another like $80.
Yeah.
But still, like $80 is nice. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I can have a little fun with $80.
Conversely, in June, the Senate unveiled a proposal to hike E1 to E3 pay by 5.5%, while service members of all ranks would get a 4.5% pay increase next year. A bipartisan panel of lawmakers recently found, after months of studying military quality of life issues, that military pay has not kept pace with inflation or civilian paychecks. You don't say. I mean, if you really look at it, how much a fucking E1 through E3 gets paid per year, it's like 20 grand.
Yeah, it's not a lot at all.
It's fucking nothing. And they're like, well, the benefits you get while you're in, you know, your food's provided for you, barely. Medical's provided for you, barely. All these other things, they're like, well, everything's taken care of. You get a place to live rent free. Yeah. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
Have you seen
It's
them?
like, while, yeah, all that, you don't have to pay for any of that, and pretty much all the money that you make is for your pocket. Your quality of life is
Not good.
Not great. So you're spending that money to keep yourself happy.
Alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, if you're freshly in, even getting out, if you're still in, put some damn money aside.
Dude,
Trust me.
Honestly, 20
Trust me.
$20 fucking dollars a month is like a slap in the face. It's just like, here, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, you almost feel like a beggar on the streets trying to fucking, hey man, give me
Spare
anything.
change.
Spare change. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. So here's $20. Go away. That's
They're
how
gonna
it
do
feels.
it like homeless people go spending on booze.
Exactly. That $20 is like, and you know everybody's gonna use that $20 to fucking just, they don't give a shit. They're gonna spend it on something stupid because they don't care, and it's understandably they don't care.
What are you gonna do with $20?
Regiment in this podcast is also partnered with BR Paradox. BR Paradox is a company that specializes in custom-built PCs. So if you have an idea for a cool custom-built PC, they can definitely give you the hookup on that. But if you're not in the market for custom PCs, BR Paradox has a wide array of pre-built PCs that you could choose from at great prices. And if you're not in the market right now for a new PC, BR Paradox will definitely hook you up with an optimization. Optimizations take around 10-15 minutes to do, and they're very awesome. I highly recommend them. I had my PC optimized by them, and it's never run smoother since. BR Paradox also has a list of renowned customers ranging from LeBron James, Chris Brown, members of FaZe Clan, and even Angela White from your favorite orange and black site, if you know what I mean. So head on over to brparadox.com to get yourself a PC today or an optimization. And remember to use promo code REGIMENT at checkout. That's promo code REGIMENT down here at checkout.
All right.
A little while.
All right, we're back now. 2 service members and a DoD contractor charged with stealing military equipment from the Air Force and the Army. Woo. All right, so 3 people have been charged with stealing equipment from 3 central New York military bases and selling it on Facebook Marketplace, troopers said on Monday. Why? I don't understand why people that steal shit will try to fucking sell it. Here's another big thing. The equipment was shipped to at least 5 states, troopers said. 1 ballistic vest was being reshipped to Russia. The investigation began after an account advertised the stolen equipment in a post on Facebook Marketplace last month, according to Trooper Jack Keller, a spokesperson for the state police. The gear was not available to the general public, and some of it was sensitive in nature, he said. Investigators determined the account was created by James Wileski of Jamesville, according to Keller. He's a civilian working for the U.S. Defense Department at the 17th Air National Guard Attack Wing, which is based on the military side of Syracuse Hancock International Airport. Wileski, 50, worked as a general supply specialist at the airbase, according to his LinkedIn profile. He also appears to have served for nearly 3 decades as the U.S. Army, in the U.S. Army, including as a brigade supply sergeant, according to the profile. A military photo from '08 shows Wilewski helping hold the American flag on top of a mountain near a military training center in Afghanistan. And here's his Facebook profile. 2 other people were charged as part of the investigation due to stolen equipment. They were identified as Gordon Reynolds, an MP, and Jorian Garcia Hernandez, a unit supply specialist. That's how he got this shit. He got it from supply. Troopers recovered thousands of dollars in military equipment shipped to buyers in New York, Texas, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia and Florida, Keller said. They also got back a ballistic vest that was being reshipped to Russia. Tens of thousands of dollars in additional gear was found in Wilewski's home, Keller said. The equipment was stolen from the 174th Wing and Army National Guard 27th Infantry Brigade combat team, both based in Syracuse, as well as the 272 Army Military Police Detachment in Auburn. Wilewski was charged in second-degree grand larceny and unlawful sale of body armor. Unlawful sale of body armor?
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know it was unlawful to sell and buy body armor.
That's weird.
Oh, it is in New York. That's right.
Oh.
As well as 11 counts of third-degree criminal possession of a weapon. He is being held. He's being held in some fucking jail. His bail was set to 20 grand cash or $100,000 bond. Reynolds, 44, was charged with 4th-degree criminal possession of stolen property and 2 counts of 3rd-degree criminal possession of a weapon. He's being held in Madison County Jail, records show. Garcia was charged with petite larceny, which is a misdemeanor. During the search, an assault weapon was found. Assault weapon. Keller said it was not stolen from the military bases. I'm assuming he means the fucking pink Defender over here. The fucking pink. I don't understand why they like try to tiger stripe camo this when it's highlighter pink.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
Try to make it look cool.
Pink highlighter pink is not something you would want in a battlefield ever.
No. Well, I mean, it's not. That ain't meant for that. That's his wife's.
Even still,
His
dude.
wife was like, I just want to.
If my wife wanted a gun, she ain't getting that kind of shit ever. So Wilewski's wife, Jennifer Wilewski, 40, was charged with 3rd-degree criminal possession of a weapon, assault weapon. She appears to have been released from the county jail, so it was his wife's.
Mm-hmm.
Trooper asked anyone information about stolen equipment or those who may have purchased it to call investigator Carl Schneider. So like I said, so here's what this, I can tell you right now by looking at it what the stolen equipment was. It was not the magazines. No armory has PMags. Also, no armory has these fucking small Vietnam era mags. I can tell you
My
right
armory.
now. Yours did?
My armory had all of those. Yeah. Maybe not the small mags, but we got issued PMags.
Really?
And they got rid of. Yeah, they just put the metal ones in a box, and they're like, all right, and they just issued everybody PMags.
Full disclosure, PMags are dog shit.
I like them better than the metal ones.
I don't. The metal ones are, in my opinion, way more reliable. Depending, so there's always magazines have different springs in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the springs are defined by the color of the plate in there that houses the rounds. You have tan, green, and black. And we always say in the Army, tan's the man. The fucking tan ones are the ones you want. Green ones are okay. Black ones are shit. The springs are always fucked up. For some reason, the color of the plate on the inside determines how good the spring is. Don't know why, but that's just how it is.
Maybe it's like eras that they came out, and they had different like for the years that they came out, and the tan ones are just newer.
Probably, yeah. But anyway, maybe the PMags then? I don't know. Both of these rifles, definitely not. The IOTVs, definitely. The Sappy plates, 100% were taken. These binos, I know were because I can see the serial number shit on top. This set of nods, this thermal, both of these radios. Now, you cannot buy these fucking radios. This is an Embedder radio, and this is a Harris radio. This radio, the green one on the right, is used the same way as the emitter, but it's often used for aircraft, communicating with aircraft. You can use the emitter for it too, but like
those are on a much more secure wavelength circuit, whatever you want to call it.
Frequency.
We always just called it green gear. Yeah, frequency. There we go.
So basically, both of these hold what's called crypto. So crypto, you need to fill the crypto to encrypt all of your comms. So how it works is that if you have an encrypted radio, an outside radio that doesn't have the crypto fill can be on the same frequency as you, but cannot hear you.
It.
It'll just be static.
Hence the
crypto.
More secure frequencies.
Yes, more secure frequencies. This ACH 100% was from the arms room. MRE, it's up for speculation, to be honest.
Yeah.
This shit right here.
Who cares?
This shit right here, this looks like a holster.
Yeah, the little leg,
the drop leg. No one uses a fucking drop leg. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't know why people are like so all about putting a drop leg and shit. No one uses that shit. I know one guy that did, and he was a fucking tool. He was also my old first sergeant. All right, next topic. Army officer convicted in Afghan visa bribery scheme.
Navy
officer convicted. Did I say Army? Did I say Army? Fuck.
You did.
Sorry, my brain.
I was going to let it slide, but I was like, nah.
Yeah, I was. Oh, speaking of Navy, Doc said that his ship is port for repairs.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he sent that in the group chat, didn't he?
Yeah, he said ship broke, had to pull into port for emergency repairs. Honestly, has made it longer than I expected. He said, this is literally the first ship of its kind. It was commissioned in 1989. It was supposed to be decommissioned in 2020. That's fucking crazy.
Power of the U.S. military.
All right, a federal jury convicted an officer in the Naval Reserves last week for his involvement in a bribery scheme to provide unknown Afghan nationals visas to the United States. Commander Jerome Pittman, a civil engineer corps officer who deployed to Afghanistan in 2014 and 2015 with NATO Special Operations Command, received thousands of dollars for drafting, submitting, and falsely verifying bogus letters of recommendation for Afghan nationals seeking special immigrant visa that would allow them to live in the U.S., according to the U.S. Department of Justice. The State Department issues limited number of special immigrant visas to Afghans who assisted in U.S. troops and diplomats during the war in Afghanistan and served as translators. In more than 20 letters, Pittman claimed that he personally knew and oversaw the Afghan national visa applicants and asserted that they had served as interpreters for the U.S. military and NATO troops. These letters also claimed that these applicants' lives were endangered by the Taliban and affirmed that his belief they were not a national security threat to the U.S. In reality, Pittman did not know the applicants and had no basis for recommending them for SIVs. The Department of Justice's news release said. In exchange, Pittman will receive several thousands of dollars in bribes. To avoid detection, Pittman received the bribe money through an intermediary, created false invoices purporting to show that he was receiving the money for legitimate work unrelated to his military service, the Department of Justice said. Pittman commissioned in 2003 as a civil engineer corps officer, according to the service records obtained by Navy Times. Pittman first appeared in federal court March 2022 on charges accepting bribes and conspiring to commit visa fraud. Court documents allege that Pittman worked with an unnamed co-conspirator in Kabul who solicited Pittman's assistance back in February of 2018. The documents indicate Pittman and the co-conspirator met during Pittman's deployment in Afghanistan in 2014 and 2015. I can almost tell you who the fuck that was. His co-conspirator.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I can only say that, his name escapes me, but he's on a fucking terror watch list. And he oversees the Afghan visa thing. So I want I think it's a Haqqani. It's either Haqqani or something else, but he works with Haqqani. So this guy, I've heard about him several times on fucking Sean Ryan's podcast. One of the intelligence people were even telling him that like he had this guy that was working with he's working with the Afghan resistance, who's formerly U.S. Army intelligence that is currently in Afghanistan working with the resistance. And he talked about how the guy that is in charge of immigration and visas in Afghanistan is actually on as a fucking terrorist, a known terrorist. And he was also part of the visa thing for when we were bringing Afghans here.
That's actually wild.
So I can almost guarantee you his co-conspirator is that same fucking guy.
That's wild. That's kind of crazy.
It's also
allow him to do that.
Yeah. So the money was wired Pittman through Bank of America account in Hayward, California, to an account with USAA in Pensacola, Florida, under the label Family Support, according to court documents. I got it today. Thank you, and thank your friend for sending it. Pittman said in an email after receiving the payment in 2018, according to court documents. I just wish the money would keep coming. Maybe one day we will get a business started. It would be nice to pay off my debts. Pittman ultimately was convicted of conspiracy to commit bribery under false writing, bribery, false writing, and conspiracy to commit concealment, money laundering. The Justice Department said he faces up to 45 years in prison. This is what happens.
All that for a few extra dollars.
All that to try to pay off your fucking debts. Like, honestly though, because it's fucking crazy. Like it's always officers doing shit like this. You know?
Yeah.
You never hear of enlisted. That's not true. It's not very often enlisted are involved with this. It's always a fucking officer. And it's been
dude, you're already making so much.
Not even that, but it's usually because that officer or senior NCO is in a position where they are able to capitalize off that in their own way.
Mm-hmm. And they do.
And they do. They absolutely do.
There's some of them when you hear, you're like, oh man, he sold some what is it? Shit from supply.
Yeah.
Like I took a little bit of it and sold it on Facebook. It's like, okay, whatever. Like,
so my buddy,
it's not that big of a deal.
My buddy has like gear of his own that, he got, and it's like, cool guy gear, and he sells it, but he's very, very, very picky on who he sells it to.
Mm-hmm.
So like if he throws shit up on eBay, and if the person that wins the bid is in China, he immediately rescinds it and he fucking puts it back out there.
No.
He said I get a lot. He gets a lot of fucking Chinese bids.
I bet.
And it's U.S. equipment that he's selling.
Mm.
And he's
they
like,
just want to get it and be like, what's it doing? What's it look like?
Yeah. For the most part, he sells it to like airsofters and some fucks that are willing to spend hundreds of dollars for cool guy gear.
And you can just go get replicas of it because you're not actually being shot. Just
Correct.
Get a cheap replica.
Correct. Like he just sold an Ops Corps helmet for like several $100s, and I'm just like, and the person that bought it just totally it's not even an Ops Corps helmet, it's a bump helmet, which has no ballistic protection at all. At that point, just get a replica.
Yeah.
Anyway, last article. Could creatine be coming to MREs? Would you trade a pack of MRE jalapeno cheese for creatine? Congress is considering whether to ask the military to add the fitness supplement to rations. I say, why not? My opinion, though. A supplement long used in fitness circles to beef up muscles may be coming to MREs near you. Congress could soon ask the military to look into including creatine in MREs, the staples of field nutrition across the military. The measure was, I can tell you right now that creatine is going to taste like shit.
Oh, 100%.
Because if it's powder and you got to mix it, it's going to be chunky. It's going to be gross.
It's going to be nasty.
The measure was
like that drink mix.
Yeah, the fucking shake mix that they give you. I tried that one time, never again. The measure was included in the fiscal year 2025 National Defense Policy Bill passed by the House. It will need final approval from the House and Senate before being added to the final defense bill. An official with a Natural Products Association, which represents manufacturers and retailers of organic foods and dietary supplements, told Task and Purpose the creatine language was added to the bill by a member of the House's Republican majority. The House measure, should it become law, is short on specifics. The legislation encourages the Department of Defense to add creatine MREs, noting a broad body of clinical research has shown that creatine can enhance muscle growth, physical performance, strength training, post-exercise recovery, and injury prevention. Steroids do that too, by the way. The use of creatine as a fitness supplement is not new but has increased in popularity in recent years. Fitness influencers on social media frequently endorse variations of creatine for muscle building and recovery. In the military, a series of studies on active duty personnel a decade ago found as many as 1 in 3 troops in special operations used creatine as a regular supplement, but that was far less common among the military population overall. That's because we're on juice. We don't need creatine. We've got fucking Trent. We've got Trent and D-ball and all that shit. We don't need creatine.
Oh, man.
Other fitness supplements have been introduced in the military as early as basic training, where Army recruits are provided with a performance readiness bars fortified with calcium, vitamin D. Where was this? To promote muscle growth and stronger bones in trainees. The performance readiness. Let me click on that. What does that look like? All right. That's just going to take me to the Defense Logistics Agency. I didn't want to fucking read that. I wanted to see what it looked like. If it's those fucking power bars and MREs, they're very rare. You don't get them very often. They're good.
I loved them. Whenever I got them, I liked the cranberry one. No, these are different.
Really?
Oh, wait. First strike bar.
Yeah, it's a first strike bar.
It's gotta be the first strike bar, but like what I'm seeing is also like different logos. It's probably the same thing, just different packaging.
For those that don't know, here, let's look up first strike bar. First strike bar. So it looks like that. God, that brings back memories looking at that. Every time I got one of these,
one's the best.
I like the chocolate one. I like the cran. I like them all. I like all the first strike bars. But like every time I got one of these in MRE, I was like, "Fucking Merry Christmas to me, dog."
Mm-hmm.
But they're very few and far between. So at base exchanges, troops can buy protein powders, energy drinks, and sometimes creatine. The DoD also includes creatine in its dietary supplement resource, also known as Operation Supplement Safety. Yeah. Brian Schilling, a universe supplement. Have you heard about Operation Supplement Safety?
Why is it always got to be an operation?
I don't know, dude. It's this supplement safety thing was all about like the type of supplements being sold in the PX and shit, and that
I remember that.
That stemmed from fucking old Formula Jack 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Because people were popping hot for meth on drug tests, and they narrowed it down to fucking Jack 3D.
Funny. Can you imagine? Be like, what do you mean I popped for meth? I've never touched that in my life.
Right?
It says you did.
It's just
be like I'd be so confused because then no one would believe you. Because I mean,
nobody
guilty
would
until
you.
Proven innocent.
Right?
They'd be like, no, you're doing meth. I'd be like, no.
It's like I'm not doing meth. Where the fuck would I have gotten it? I don't know I don't know shit about meth. Like,
do I look like I do meth?
Like, is my face sunken in and my teeth gone? Like, I'm not doing meth. Like, it's.
Why would I go off base and do meth?
Hey, dude.
I'd be like, use your brain.
Like, you would be surprised at what fucking Joe will do. Like I've talked about the heroin thing before and the cocaine thing. Mm-hmm. My old unit had that heroin problem. It's like, dudes, I'm like, why don't you just smoke weed? Yeah, you're going to get in trouble for it, but it's not going to be like life destructive like heroin.
I'm just imagining a group of dudes in the barracks after a long day, and they're like, all right, let's go to my room. And everyone's just.
Yeah, it's like, hey, man, you got that fucking.
In its circle.
It's just like, hey, man, you want to do some black tar heroin? It's like, fucking what? It's like, man, I'm so glad we're out of the field. Do you want to do some heroin now? Like, dude, just to take the edge off? Like, what the fuck?
Imagine just sitting there with your boy drinking a beer, and you look over, and he's just pulling a needle out, and he's just, what are you doing? Heroin.
No, he's just, or
Why?
he has a spoon and a fucking lighter, and you're just like, what are you? He's just like, I don't know, he's like, you ever thought like just beer's not enough, and just like lights a spoon on fire, and you're just like, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm like, I'm getting out of here.
But yeah, these
Just sprint.
dudes were skipping the fucking, like, they always say the gateway drugs. They just skipped the gateways and just jumped right into it. Like cocaine and heroin was the thing. Like just drinking,
Hey,
smoke weed, bro. Come on.
they aren't quitters. I'll give them that.
No, they just want to have
They
a
go,
fucking.
they go all the way.
They just want to have a lifetime of opium addiction.
At least the weed thing, it's like, all right, you know, like you can't really blame someone that much for weed because it's so easily accessible. When it comes to heroin, it's like you had to go find somebody to sell this to you.
I mean,
Versus like weed or
nowadays,
cocaine, you could just be at a house party and be like, oh, it's here.
Yeah, well, weed is one thing. Like, especially in the United States, like we have dispensaries in places. Certain states it's legal.
Come in here and sit up on the bed.
Yeah.
Here's a treat.
Okay.
Get the puppy.
Shoot, that one. Here.
Yeah, I got the puppy.
Wonder room. Come on, Scott.
Here, River. Oh, fuck, I hope he doesn't start barking.
So yeah, you got these two like weed dispensaries. Yeah, weed. You can just go in there and be like, oh yeah, I want weed. Okay, here you go. Heroin is like the shit that you find in like an alley, where people are all just junked out and shit. Dude, you can't just fucking buy heroin from the store.
Come here, River.
Show,
River, come here. Up here. Come up here. Come on.
show me the puppy. Look at the puppy. Look at the puppy.
He's about to start freaking out and barking. I'm just
How
letting
old
you
is
know
he?
right now? 3.
Oh, he's still a puppy.
No, that's as big as he's getting.
Is it?
No. He's a little toy Aussie.
Toy Aussie. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
All right, let's finish this article. So, Brian Schilling, University of Nevada professor who teaches a course on troop and first responder human performance and does research for the U.S. military, said putting creatine in MREs could help troops already using the supplement maintain their creatine levels a little bit longer. But he doesn't think there will be a huge benefit for the non-creatine user. For instance, I just don't supplement with creatine, but all of a sudden it's in my MRE. So therefore I'm going to perform better. Just don't see it happening. So basically this really only benefits those who are currently still using it. For consistent creatine users, Schilling does agree that having the supplements and MREs makes sense for maintaining muscle mass in rugged environments where troops may find themselves. It might help them maybe preserve some of the muscle mass, assuming that they're in some adverse conditions where they're not eating normally and do things normally like they would in battlefield condition. The Army cautions its soldiers to consult service-registered dietitians. Performance teams of RDs and soldiers without an H2F team can consult dietitians in military treatment facilities or our Armed Forces Wellness Center. The DoD, not everyone will find the same physical benefits when using creatine due to the individual factors like diet. There are both high and low responders. For example, since creatine in the diet is predominantly found in meats, vegetarians are more likely to respond well to creatine supplementation because they tend to have lower levels in their muscles. Creatine can have positive effects on strength, power, sprint performance, and muscle mass in athletes who engage in resistance training. There's limited evidence to support creatine for improved aerobic or endurance performances, according to the DoD. This is a long fucking article.
Mm-hmm. It's really just going on about studies and like how much you have to use it for it to even really do anything for you.
About time, honestly. Like, dude, if I was still in, like, when I was in my good shape, dude, I wish we had fucking creatine in our stuff, dude. I wanted, because it was finding, what the fuck is this?
We would just have dudes that used it. They would just put the creatine in their pack and bring it with them.
Motherfucker. Anyway, yeah, dude. Like when we were in the field and shit, I would bring protein and stuff all the time. So it wasn't outside of the realm of possibility to like bring that stuff. But it is nice to see that shit's going into MREs.
Yeah. Or even being thought about, where it's like, hey, what can we do to outside the box, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was it.
Sweet. I was gonna say, yeah, probably before this one starts freaking out, because I think I got to put him in his cage anyway, and he will fucking wail for an hour.
All righty. Well, guys, that was it. I'm gonna eat food because my sickness prevented me from actually eating anything, and now my body is desperately trying to fucking recover from it.
Also, I think you gave me whatever you had because my throat is starting to hurt.
Oh yeah, from
I'm not
making
even
out and
lying.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
from just
it's
making out
fucking-
and shit.
I can feel it coming, and I'm like, damn it.
It's going around, bro. Well, anyway, guys, love you all. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you on the next episode. Hopefully, there's more to talk about by then. So,
Fingers crossed.
yeah, fingers crossed. All right, have a good one, guys. Bye.
Bye.